now. All right, well, welcome everybody, those here in person live and those listening later. We're so grateful for you during this special week of Thanksgiving, where we hold gratitude as a practice, that expands our connection to each other in such a amazing way. I feel so grateful for my YogaFit family, for each of you. And if you're not part of our family, we are excited to welcome you into the family. You're already friends. And we have such a lovely, supportive community. We are celebrating, as you can see, our 25 years. If you haven't got your sweatshirt, they're pretty awesome. By the way, go online on the website. They are so cool. I love it. I wear it literally every day. My husband thinks it looks like a Disney one. I was like, oh, it kind of does. So just a little shout out to YogaFit, 25 years and the amazing places we've gone and where we're going from like a 200-hour launch, remember, in 2006. And then we had a 500-hour, we had the therapy program, the YogaFit for Warriors. And now we're going to be going into next year. And we have a strong therapy program. I'm going to let Kristy talk about that. Amazing growth, especially since the pandemic. And of course, the therapeutic applications of yoga and its need is only growing in our world. And you are part of that. You are those first responders out there for everybody who's suffering. And I know there's a lot of us. And then the Warriors program is also celebrating its 10 years, 10 years. I still cannot believe it. I would never have imagined where 10 years would have taken me. And everybody who's a part of the program, so grateful for everybody's on here. I know Lamore's on here, Mary's on here, Kristy's on here, and integral part of the therapy program, all of our amazing trainers, but you more importantly. And I've been so fortunate this past 2 weeks. I've started doing these one-on-one calls with people. You can sign up online. I just want to mention that in case I forget. I'll put a link in the chat through Calendly. If you're like, hey, I really just want some one-on-one attention with my programming, what workshop should I take next? Or what's this workshop about? You can ask me literally anything. Or if you just want to chat and brag about what you're doing with it, I love that. I got to do that a couple of times this week. Some people doing some amazing work out there. So we can brag about you, but also kind of get a feel for what your interests are and where we need to fill some gaps in our programming. And I found a lot about that this week. And also real quick, you guys know it's Black Friday. We started our sale early. So today through Wednesday, 25% off. And there's a code online for that. I'll also put that in the chat while Kristy's talking. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the director of our yoga therapy program, Kristy Manuel. She is zooming in from California. I'm here on the other coast in Virginia. We're holding it down across the US here. And she's going to just tell you a little bit more about the program, what to expect from it, what are the requirements of it. And then exciting because when we send the follow-up, the recording for this, for those listening again, live or in person or later, we're going to send you an example of what happens when you join the therapy program. And then how, what does a presentation look like? What does the research look, how does it look like in practical aspects of working with people? What kind of conditions do people work with? And then the therapeutic tools and a little sample video, like a practice video. So you're getting all sorts of yummy benefits on this one. I'm so grateful for Kristy for putting this all together. She's just amazing. We're super fortunate. And Felicia's on here too. So Felicia is the co-director of our therapy program. And so I'm going to let her talk as well. I'll let her and Kristy take over here in just a minute. Again, we have a strong program, and I'm gonna say I think we have one of the best in the business. In fact, I know we do. We absolutely do. All right, so enough from me. Kristy, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming here. Felicia is here if you want to unmute and pipe in anytime as well. Felicia and I co-direct the therapy program, and it is a fantastic program. We're going to give you a little snapshot of it today. But I also wanted to, before I start my PowerPoint, I wanted to recognize Krista Funk, who is in this meeting, and she is a 2022 graduate of our therapy program, and some of you may know her as a trainer. So she just recently earned her CIAYT. So congratulations, Krista. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'll give you a chance to talk as well, Krista. You might want to share your experience as well going through the program. So let me find my PowerPoint here. All right. We got to wait till there we go. presenter view. Is that what I want? Nope. What's that look like? That's not what I want. Ah, that's what I want. Okay. All right. So as you know, or may not know, we are an IAYT certified, or excuse me, IAYT accredited school. And when you finish our program, you are eligible to apply to IAYT to become a certified yoga therapist. And so our program is called YogaFit for Healthcare. It's 985 hours, and it comes in 3 stages. So we're a little bit different model than some of the other programs that you might have looked at. Our coursework is the trainings that you guys have been taking, and there are specific trainings that are therapy focused training, and there's 560 hours of coursework. And these courses are taken at your own pace, your own schedule. Since 2020, they're virtual and in person, and you can take them. There are some prerequisites, obviously, for some courses, but you can really just take them. You can go leisurely at your pace. You don't have to officially enroll in the program to take our courses. If you already have a CIYT, then these courses can also count for a continuing education to keep your certification. So the first stage is coursework. The second stage are the intensives, and that's when you enter into the intensive phase. That's what we officially say you are in the program, and it becomes intense at that point. So our intensives are 3 5-day courses, so for a total of 124 hours, and they have different themes, which I'll get to in just a minute. And that stage lasts about a year. And then the practicum stage, which is the third stage, practicum delivery and mentorship, which is 305 hours. That's done in your hometown with mentorship with one of our faculty mentors, and you meet with them via Zoom or Skype, unless you happen to be lucky enough to have one that's in your town, and that can happen sometimes. And then the intensives are, there are 3 themed modules. Module 1 is focused on foundational, and it's made up of what we consider our foundational courses. And then we have an intensive 1 that's taken the first one, and that's focusing on the information in the foundational courses. Module 2 is focused on mental health and trauma. And in this intensive, we begin to write what we call 9-pillar papers. We dig a little deeper into subject matter, getting ready to begin our practicum delivery. So you'll be researching various topics and then giving presentations in the intensives. And a lot of the work done in the intensive phase in this year is done outside of that 5 days. The 5 days is focused on a little bit of review, and we do case study work, we dig a little deeper, but the 3 days of it are the student presentations. And it's really interesting. I have learned so much from our students in these fabulous presentations, which we will be sending in the follow-up material. You'll be getting a snippet of some of these presentations. You'll get to see what that's all about. And then module 3, the theme here is lifestyle and chronic disease. And so this gives us, each module gives us a chance to dig deeper in an area that might be of interest to us that fall into these themes. So for example, in module 3, you might be looking into chronic pain, you might be looking into heart conditions, you might be looking into diabetes, or any kind of something we consider like lifestyle conditions or chronic conditions. So far, and let me go back just one here. So I don't have a slide about the practicum, but the practicum itself then is you're delivering practicum or about 150 hours of practicum, working with 20 people, and you're delivering yoga therapy. And this is an actively mentored practicum where you're meeting with your mentor quite often, and they're helping you develop protocols, and you're learning just how to get that done. And you'll come out of this program with a business because you're doing this in your hometown. You're gathering clients around your hometown. So many of our graduates have already come out, hit the ground running, and they're doing quite well. So that's another side benefit of it, doing this in your hometown. So
Kristy,
far,
can I,
yeah.
Can I jump
Yeah.
in and just kind of say a
Yes.
couple of things?
Yeah.
So, looking at those intensives, right, those are really bringing together the work that you do in the modular classes. And in terms of the information that you receive, what we do in these intensives is really bring it together and to really guide people through the transition from being an amazing yoga teacher to thinking like a yoga therapist. So it's a lot of application. As Kristy mentioned, it's a lot of working on presentations and presentation skills. It's a lot of peer-to-peer learning. And it's also the development of a community of colleagues. And people talk about how meaningful that is during that process. So when we look at these intensives, they're an opportunity for connection, for learning, for going deeper, for taking the information and really exploring it in a lot of different ways, for bringing case studies together. So we have this brain trust working on different aspects of what it is to be a yoga therapist.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Felicia. Yeah, our word is integration. This is where we're integrating everything you've learned in those courses and then learning how to apply it. So cohort 1, which Krista was a part of, they graduated last January. We had 9 graduates in our first cohort after being accredited. And what was interesting about this group was most of them already had their CIYT from grandfathering, but they still wanted to complete the program because of the excellent programming. So that really made us happy. We like that. So currently we have 30 active students moving through the intensive and the practicum stages in 4 other cohorts. And so you can see we keep our cohorts limited so that you really get a chance to meet with the instructors, to spend a lot of time learning from each other. So you get a lot of personal attention. We have 3 cohorts that started in 2021, and then 1 started in early 2022. We have the next cohort starting in December. So I wrote it on this slide down here, December 19th, 2022 is cohort 6. And then cohort 7 will begin somewhere in May or June 2023. And this is a picture of the current cohort, or this is cohort 5 that we just met last week, and these guys were getting ready to do, or were giving their presentations in the 3 days. So Felicia, I caught you with your eyes closed. Sorry about that. So one of the things that we wanted to let you guys know, if this is motivating to you, that IAYT has been working on a certification exam, and they are ready to roll it out. And it's rolling out in a kind of a slow process. So that anyone who begins an IAYT accredited program before July 1st, 2023 will not have to take the certification exam. So if this is motivating to you, you might want to take a look at cohort 6 or cohort 7 dates. The requirements for beginning the intensive phase is you must complete the coursework. And so in our follow-up material, we'll send out an overview which lists all of our coursework that's needed. And so if you're close, this might be something that you want to think about. If you like to take tests, then maybe it's not motivating, but for me, it would be very motivating. So just a little bit about IAYT and what an accredited school is. So all of our courses, intensives, and practicum meet the educational standards that are set forth by IAYT. So we're teaching very specific principles, all relative to yoga therapy. And all of the faculty in our program are approved by IAYT, and they're experienced and they're experts in the fields that they teach. So I included here the requirements. So faculty members have well-established expertise and experience in the courses that they teach, including training, certification, or a diploma in the field in which they teach, along with a minimum of 3 years practical experience in that field. So we have 24 CIYTs on our faculty, and I'm going to guess that's probably near the top, or if not the top, of any other school size-wise. We have a lot to draw from, so much experience and knowledge on our faculty. And these are also our mentors. So these are the people that are working with you individually to help you get through the program and to guide you and make sure that you're learning everything there is to learn and making it easy as possible for you to do that. So the mentor, just a moment here to, let you know about how fabulous our mentors are. We appreciate them so much. Krista is now becoming a mentor since she graduated, and I'm a mentor myself, and Felicia is a mentor, Shaye is a mentor, Mary is a mentor that's here today, Mary Comfort, and Lamore Silas is here, she's a mentor. They put lots and lots of time in helping their students. And so we really, really appreciate that. So you get lots of guidance. We are going through a reaccreditation, and this is also to let you know that there's going to be changes. So after the cohort 7, there will be some small changes to our program. We're up-leveling some of our courses. We're eliminating some of our courses because we like to update and stay current. But we don't want to keep adding to the hours of our program. It's already like getting a PhD is what we compare it to, kind of jokingly, but not jokingly. It's a lot of work. And so after the accreditation, so after June of 2023, there'll be some just different requirements, and we'll let you guys know that well in advance, some of the courses that'll be rolling out. And then also something that's, I think, really positive is that we're likely going to keep the intensive portion online. We started that not quite knowing how it was going to turn out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share now, but we started the online in 2020, obviously, and not really knowing how it was going to turn out, but the intensive portion of it has just been fantastic online, and it has made it more accessible, more affordable. So we have the leeway to keep that intensive portion online. So we probably are going to do that. We have permission, all the schools have permission, and Felicia, you might have to help me out here with it date wise, but we can stay for another, help me out with that, Felicia.
So anybody who starts a cohort before January 1st, 2024, so that's through December 21st, 2023, can finish in the manner in which they started. So if that's virtual or if that's hybrid, anything else. So if you decide to start the program in this virtual format and you want to know if you're going to be able to finish the program in the virtual format, IYT is allowing that kind of within reason. If you decide to take a leave of absence and come back later or something else, we don't have that guarantee because they do have the caveat within a reasonable time frame. But, IYT does allow a certain amount of virtual distance learning within its parameters. But, for cohorts that are starting this process or people who are starting this process and you're wondering, am I going to still be able to do this given travel or given anything else? That is the commitment from IYT, and we have to go by those guidelines. And another thing I want to say too is this is what's called synchronous learning, where we're all doing this in real time together, because IYT does have different guidelines for what's called asynchronous, where you're just watching videos, versus synchronous, which means that you're interacting with your fellow students and instructors and mentors in real time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Krista, do you want to say anything about your experience in the program?
Of course I do. There's so much to say. And when you mentioned the group of people that were grandfathered under or certified with the IAYT under the grandfathering in the previous programming that we had going, like I was like taking courses, I wasn't sure what was what. I'm like, can I count for this? But I'm so glad that I didn't, and I didn't have enough courses to be grandfathered, because what I learned through going through the program was it just exponentially improved, first of all, my understanding of yoga therapy, and as well my own growth is what it actually means to go through a program of this intensity and then be a practitioner. So, well, there was a lot of work and a lot of growth. It was so rewarding. And I remember my first, like even getting the first intensive and my mentor setting that up. It was very new. The time frame was short from when I asked for my mentor and asked her, and she was good, to when we had our intensive, to what I was supposed to hand in for the protocol. And I ended up like writing on the sheet what I was going to do. She's like, I think you need to go write more about that. And that's when this like whole turning point shifted like a 360 degrees to going, oh, okay, this is going to require something I haven't, I wouldn't say that I haven't yet done, but done to this degree or this detail. I get to look at things closer and study. But anyway, through that, the growth, the learning, the frustrations only made me stronger. The joys of putting stuff together and present and seeing other people present and building, going through that whole program with the relationship with the other students that in there with me, and then of course the instructors as well. So there's lots more I can say specifically in terms of what I learned and the people that I worked with on a practicum basis, which was amazing. I did some things with a fellow who had a spinal cord injury. Some of you may know him if you're from Canada. That was Rick Hansen. If you're not and you're in the US, you still may have heard of him. However, he did the tour around the world in his wheelchair in 86, 85, 86-ish. So to work with him and to be able to like, yeah, use me. Yeah, use me. It was really great. There's more I can say. I'll leave it at that for now. And I can, answer other questions as they come up or share. Thanks, Kristy.
Thank you, Krista. It's always great to hear from a student, as someone that's gone through the program. I would like to highlight just something that she said, it's a lot of work. And this is something we want to just, we like to let you know ahead of time so you're not shocked. It is quite a time commitment. You are writing papers and doing presentations. But the great part of it is that it's really interesting. You're learning so much. So while it is a lot of work, it's very rewarding. And then, like Krista said, you get to work with some fabulous people along the way. So at this point, Felicia, if you have anything to say, or we can begin to take questions. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to kind of add this too, that, I know you've heard kind of those things. It's a lot of work, but it's also really a lot of integration. So one of the things that we all sign on for as a yoga student, as a yoga teacher, is that we are making this commitment to a lifelong practice. And you may have started your teaching journey with, I'll just take this one weekend, I'll just take this one class. And there's still the option for this to continue to do the process at your own pace, to take classes. When you enter the intensive phase, you are entering with a group and with a cohort. But if something happens and you need to switch or life things come up, there's also the ability to have some flexibility and to adjust. And when we talk about the work that we're doing, the research, the writing presentations, the work that we do in terms of delivering protocols, doing sessions with people, it is about offering you support as you're building skills, as you're building practice. We do a lot of brainstorming on techniques to put yourself out there more in your community. Some of the people in some of the current groups have said that the work that they've done have allowed them to make presentations in different communities, in different professional organizations, in a lot of different arenas that have really expanded the work that they do in the world. And we've also gotten a lot of great feedback on the mentor-student relationships that people have developed and how valuable that those have been and continue to be in terms of practice development, skill development, and just feeling as though you're not out there teaching or developing your life as a yoga therapist alone, that you really do have an entire community of support.
Thanks. And I will add, we had one of our students Karen Cornelius that was selected to present at the IAYT Symposium for Yoga Research that happened in October. So that was exciting. She presented the work that she had done for the program on aphasia. And so Lamora, she's your mentee, right?
Lamore, you should be able to unmute yourself.
You might have to unmute her, Shaye. I don't know.
Can you unmute? There she is.
I can. My mouse chose to not work, so I was having to do it the old-fashioned way. But yes, Karen, I've had the pleasure of mentoring Karen now for, oh goodness, 2 years, I think. Yes, and so she's done quite a lot of work with the University of Central Florida and their speech therapy program, working specifically with stroke survivors who very often have a condition called aphasia. And so she presented this at the SITAR conference at Crapalo last month, I think it was. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so exciting.
So Kristy,
do you
I have a
have any-
question. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna ask you a question. So what kind of conditions, what kind of things is yoga therapy really good for?
Oh my gosh, you name it. Really anything, any condition that we might encounter. So we can think of, maybe some common ones, like I mentioned before, like heart disease, chronic pain, inflammation, arthritis. In the end, so what we talk to our students about is we do deep dives in learning about conditions, but in the end, we're just working with the person in front of us. And so, we don't actually need to have a diagnosis. We just need to say, hey, how's it going? And where would you like to go? And, what can I offer you in terms of some of the tools that we practice? So it doesn't have to be a pathology, right? It could be something just to move more toward optimum health or optimum wellness, or more towards, some in the mental health range. We look at depression, but we also might look at how to advance our spiritual health. So it's really, we look at that biopsychosocial model, and it's wide open. Good question.
Yeah, no, well, and I asked, and I'm glad you said people who just want optimal health. So I'll just share as one of the mentors in the program, how enjoyable, first of all, that deep relationship. So we spend 38 hours together with our students, with our mentees, over a few years, but we also just developed such a deep friendship. And so that support and that, relationship endures past the time. So I'm just so grateful for my mentees. One of them, Katina, one of our trainers, she's over in India right now. And I want to brag about her because she's developing a whole new approach to what's called biofield healing using tuning forks. And that's going to be launched in Palm Springs. She developed that through the therapy program. She did that, not me. She did that. I'm there to support her. So really, truly, creative ideas are coming with our students, just mind blowing. They're taking it farther than we ever could have imagined. And I'll just share, as a yoga therapist active in my community, trust me, you can make a living on this. So probably you're asking yourself, like, all right, how much can I make on this? Let's just be real, right? It depends on where you are and what the going rate is. Some people, $75 is like the max for their community, but I charge $140, and I have no problem getting that here. I do have a more affluent community that has that kind of money. And I'll be honest, most of my students, or I should say clients in this regard, they are looking for optimal health, right? They're not coming with a specific pathology, just sort of this overall, like, I want to continue living my best life, right? And so they're looking for that. And those are great ones to work with, right? They're in a good place, starting place, and they want to continue to grow and deepen their practice. But then a lot of mine are older, of course. And of course, as we have the boomer population, that's a lot of people I work with. And they also have the resources to be able to pay for yoga therapy, and their needs are not being met by our Western medical model, right? A lot of them are going through knee replacements or hip replacements, or they have back pain unresolved for years. And they're like, there has to be something more. So just want you to know you can make a living on it. And it's the most rewarding thing to work one-on-one with people. Honestly, I tell my clients, I will only see you 3 times, which may sound shocking, right? We should be in the business of, oh, you want to, get addicted to me and meet me every week. But that we have a different approach. We believe, or the yoga therapy model believes that, health and well-being is inside of you. It's your birthright. And these tools and the awareness that we develop in the relationship, every act of awareness for me is an act of yoga therapy. All of a sudden you can just see this person, just like a garden who is dormant, being brought back to life. It's so exciting. I'm like, you don't need me anymore. You're good to go. Now, then they go, but I like coming to see you, Shaye. Can we just continue to meet and we're good? I'm like, absolutely we can. But I want them to know I'm not the one making them better, right? That's a whole different approach. It's not this pill or this surgery. They have it inside of them. And just to see people go from places of deep pain, mental, emotional, and yes, spiritual, to coming fully into their lives, there is no amount of money worth that. So I'll tell you what, if you are trying to figure out what you're supposed to do here on this planet and you're thinking yoga therapy, I'm thinking you're right. All right, I'll be quiet on that one. Yeah, I'll answer the question. Good question. Kristy, can you read that? Jennifer asked, is yoga therapy?
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let you
Hi,
take
Jennifer. Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, yoga therapy is not a licensed profession. And so to be paid, you would not be paid directly by insurance. You would not be reimbursed by insurance. You would have to work under a licensed healthcare professional, like a physical therapist, and those jobs are available. Or there might some other licensed healthcare professional, and they would have to be in the arena. The other method that some people are using is health savings accounts. And so I think that's program dependent. Sometimes they will allow yoga therapy, sometimes they won't. So the person would have to call their program. So the majority is going to be self-pay, but I think the tide is changing as people get more educated. This really is the beginning of the market for yoga therapy. And whoever's coming into yoga therapy already doing it is on the ground floor. They're, you're I can't even think of the word, not
Pioneers
groundbreakers,
or
but pioneers.
building.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
and I want to add a couple of things to this. So, we're going to be really upfront that this is still an emerging profession, and we're all kind of part of that growth in this as an emerging profession. And, as Kristy said, there isn't necessarily coordinated health insurance coverage for yoga therapy. One of the things that IAYT, the International Association of Yoga Therapists, is actively working on right now is lobbying and working with the creation of the diagnostic codes that will, or the codes within the medical system that allow for, billing of yoga therapy. That's actually something that they announced in a recent webinar. That's one of their current initiatives. And maybe it wasn't the diagnostic codes, it was there was a billing code, or there was, and I'm paraphrasing what it is right now, but that's one of the things in terms of the International Association of Yoga Therapists, is part of their kind of work and mandate is for the greater recognition of yoga therapy within the healthcare system and within integrative medicine. So there are active initiatives in terms of those creating more, not necessarily diagnostic codes, but the codes that allow for billing. So that's a current project. We don't have a timeline for that's been announced, but that's something that's in conversation. One of the things, and this is related to even Lamore talking about, Karen being accepted to speak at this symposium for yoga research, is that there are a lot of initiatives supporting more research into showing the benefits of yoga and of yoga therapy. So those are also current initiatives. The other thing I want to say is we were recently told by one of our cohort members who works in the VA system that the VA system has recently started a nationwide yoga therapy initiative around more integration of yoga therapy within the whole health program. And so that's something that we've heard a bit about, and that there's also some integration in terms of health coaching. Another thing that, I've seen in terms of some actually jobs for CIAYT yoga therapists is in some healthcare systems, such as I know Kaiser Permanente in Southern California has hired some people who are CIAYT yoga therapists for, a combination of yoga therapy and health coaching positions. And another place, just because this is an area in which I work, in the addiction and recovery field, a lot of places will hire yoga therapists specifically as part of their programming and their service providing. So yes, there isn't, like, if you were to like just look for job openings for yoga therapists, there isn't like pages and pages of them. We don't have a job placement service. So we just want to be honest about that. There is an aspect of, being an entrepreneur, creating situations, knocking on doors, but we are really here to help with that process. And also, to look at, what are the ways in which we're all expanding this field. And as part of, one of the 68 accredited schools around the world, as an active part in the IAYT community, and IAYT itself is really working on what does it mean to create greater understanding, awareness of the distinction between even an amazing yoga teacher and the additional training, expertise, and clinical work that a yoga therapist provides and has and can utilize in terms of different healthcare settings.
Kristy, did you see Junius's question and also Sarah's question about cost?
I did. Okay, let me answer Junius's question first. So you don't have that many to take, and what I would recommend is, first of all, the answer is yes, you will be on the hook if you go beyond cohort 7 and enroll after our reaccreditation. You will have to come. There's going to be, I think, maybe 3 new courses. Off the top of my head, I think it's 3 new courses. So it's not a ton. However, you have just a few left. So you could conceivably get done. I'm working on actually adding a cancer care in March, and we're trying to add a biomedical to get people that are wanting to enroll so that they can complete the courses in the spring to be eligible for that May or June one. And we can get an ADD one. Oh, you're taking ADD in February. Okay, so really it's just the cancer care and the biomed. So then you'd be ready to go if you wanted to start in May or June. So that's what I would look for if that's something that you want to do. And then Sarah, your question about the cost of the yoga therapy program. So we charge for the yoga therapy program just exactly the same way that we charge for the courses. So a 5-day intensive is like a 5-day MBF. And so what's that, about $1,050, I think, or so. You get that bulk discount training that MBF pricing offers. So there's 3 of those. So that's $3,150 for that. Then there are 2 courses that bookend, 2 3-day courses that bookend the practicum that you must take, the practicum readiness course and the practicum final. And so that's another, I think 3-day course is about $715 or so, somewhere in that range. So another $1,400. And then the only other fee then is the $600 mentoring fee that you pay at the beginning of the practicum. And you just pay as you go. So we don't ask for any money up front. We ask for the money just like we would when you register for a course. A little bit of bad news is that none of the discounts that are offered are good for anything in the intensive or the practicum. And so those can only apply to the coursework. So that's good, but there will be no discounts beyond. So I hope that's helpful. And I put in the chat both the overview of the therapy program, which lists the coursework, and then the student handbook, which will be updated for the new accreditation, but it says 2019, but it is the current programming. It has the prices in there. And so it also includes the estimation on the books, because there are books that are required, and anything else that might be required. However, it does talk about travel. So we've taken the cost of the travel out of it, which I think is just great. Okay. Oh yeah, Cami, yes. Yes. Shaye just put my email in there. Email me. We can have a call if you like, chat about that. Yeah, and I'm happy to take calls as well. If anybody would like to just email me. I talk to people at least once or twice a week about the therapy program that just have emailed me with questions.
Yeah, what's nice, and I'm glad, Sarah, you asked about the cost, is because you don't realize, but you've already basically paid for it as you're going through getting your 500 hours. So make sure when you're doing your 500 hours, you're looking also like all your electives, make sure that are required, make sure they all are the therapy program like elective. So it's a double, two for one, if you will. And then by the time you're done, then you have, and if I did the math in my head, I'm getting about $5,000 over 2 or 3 years, right? Once you're ready for the therapy program, then and then you pay as you go. So that's nice to know, is that, okay, I pay as I go, right? Layaway here. But as I'm going along, I'm getting, different certifications. All of module 2 of our therapy program, and I can show you online where this is, if you guys aren't familiar with our website, is basically all the warrior stuff. So when you get done, you're going to have your 140-hour warriors. And I want to talk more about that expansion here in just a second. And yes, they're still good. If you took, that's right, Kristy, if they took healthcare 1, 2, and 3, it's still good. Yes. They were called, yes, they were called yoga therapy 1, 2, and 3 before, right?
Yes. And something we just added is that anybody that's enrolled in the therapy program. So I talked earlier about there's an application process, and there is a $300 application fee, which goes toward mentoring. But once you're enrolled, you don't have to begin taking them. You can just be enrolled. But as a student of the yoga therapy program, you are eligible to take healthcare 1 again for $49. And so we have a couple of students sitting in this weekend, or last weekend, there was the first 2 days, and next weekend are the second 2 days of an online healthcare 1, just to get reacquainted with it. And then also you will get updates of the manuals for 1, 2, and 3, because 2 and 3 have been recently updated and a lot of new stuff has been added. And then one of the new courses that we're adding is called a yoga therapy lab, which kind of gets you ready. And that we're going to probably roll that out probably in May, or maybe a little bit earlier, but that would be something you could take even while you're in the program, because it just gets you familiar with all the paperwork, protocol design, just gives you practice at doing things. So yeah, refreshing is always good. It's always good. And then somebody who's in healthcare 1, she emailed me today. She's retaking healthcare 1 this weekend, and she said, "This is so helpful. Can I do this also for healthcare 2?" And so I checked that out, and we can't do that really good deal for healthcare 2, but you're eligible as a therapy student to take it as a retrain, which takes quite a bit off the price. So lots of benefits.
All right. Well, I know our time's getting short. I'm going to jump on real quick and show you our website. So I'm going to share the screen so everybody knows when you go to our website, which is kind of new. I'm sure you guys have seen this. Look, schedule a call with the master trainer. How'd that get on there? Schedule now, please do. And then of course, then we have our virtual in person, but all you're going to do, go to our homepage, and you're going to go to this first drop down box. You just go down to specialty yoga tracks. That's where we have it now. So it's a little buried. That's why I want to show you guys. So you can go back anytime. Then you're going to scroll down. These are all of our specialty tracks. Of course, I'm going to go hint, hint. Here's the Warriors program, Warrior Kids, our Trauma Informed for Kids, our Ayurveda program. We have so many amazing programs, but you got to go all the way to the end. And this is it right here. Oh, our new sound healer. Ooh, that's already on here. I'm so excited for that one. But the healthcare therapy program, and you're going to find all of that information, right? Your application form, more information about how much it costs, and then how to click here for the enrollment form. All the required coursework, you can just scroll down. Just like I said, module 2 is basically all the warrior stuff that you love so much. So really cool stuff. I'm going to stop that right now, and I'll go one more share here. And again, let me see. I want to show you guys something exciting. Of course, I'm going to brag about the Warriors program. We're expanding it to a 200-hour program. And I may attach this checklist to everybody if you want. We're adding in 2 more. So next year is our 10-year anniversary of YogaFit for Warriors. And we're growing the program from 140 to 200 hours. I'm going to apply to Yoga Alliance so that we have 2 different 200-hour RYTs. Our regular, right, which is great, but then a 200-hour trauma-informed RYT. So I am just super thrilled that this continues to grow. One of the big ones that just launched that is selling out because it is, I know I made it, this sounds really braggy, but it is just really what the world needs right now. Collective intergenerational trauma. I mean, it's everything you think it is. It is so cool. And it's big systems theory kind of stuff. We look even at Enneagram work. I can't even begin to explain how this workshop is, but man, do I love it. So we have a lot of those coming up. I think the next 2 are sold out, but March still has a few. And then chronic pain. If you've already taken it, you don't have to retake it again. It's just anybody who's been through trauma has chronic pain. So that's something you can always go, oh, check mark, already got it done. And then a brand new one. Now this I'm working on right now. It's in production. And it's in the candy factory, if you will. Somatosensory yoga, looking at reticular activating orienting system, really dialing into the somatics of trauma. Beyond what we think of what yoga is, more of this idea, you'll hear this term a lot of somatics. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully late spring, but definitely by next year. And we are going back to Shades of Green. It's not on the website yet, but we are going back to Orlando, Veterans Day next year. And in fact, we're going to take one whole day Wednesday. Anybody want to show up? We're going to go have fun at Disney together. We're just going to go have fun. That's what we're there for. And then we're going to get to learning for those next 4 days at an amazing location. So mark that on your calendar. All right, I'm going to stop that. Any questions, any thoughts, concerns, anything from any of our trainers on here? We're so grateful for all of you, of course, keeping our program so strong, so healthy. And of course, to our students. I say this all the time. We couldn't do it without you. And in fact, you grow our program. You're just as much a part of YogaFit and its creative juices as we are. You're the foundation. So thank you just for, being a part of us and being our family in this Thanksgiving week, our Friendsgiving week with you guys. The Disney dates. Yeah, let me tell you real quick. I know what they are. I have to look at my phone. I'll tell you what they are here real quick. Again, look for that here in the next month. We'd like to get that on the website. We got some other things to get through. So I think it's going to be that we'll start. It'll be November 8th through the 12th. And that Wednesday, November 8th is when we're going to be going to Disney just for the day and having all sorts of fun together. If you're interested, of course, if you're a Disney fan. And how can you? Yay. All right.
Yeah, Jennifer just asked another question. Is there a time limit to complete the program? So once you're enrolled, once you begin the intensive phase, we now take control of your time, so to say. So the intensive program, the intensive phase lasts approximately a year. And I would say approximately is because we have a student-centered program, and we try to make sure that we choose dates. Like we get together in intensive 1 and we choose the dates for intensive 2 as a group. And so some groups go a little faster than other groups, but it's about 1 year. And then the practicum is scheduled for 12 to 18 months to allow people to be able to finish it and get on with their lives as well. So it really is group dependent. We do have some people that had to pause because maybe things came up in their life. They'll be able to hop into another cohort when they're ready to get back to it. But generally, it's about 2 years to 2.5 years once you enter the intensive phase. Whereas the coursework part, that's up to you. You could take 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 2 years. A lot of people took advantage of 2020 and virtual trainings, and they do what I call fire hose information feeding. Just took training after training after training, and then they entered the therapy program, which is why we had a lot of cohorts going at once. So. So yeah, it's already there. I wanted to ask Katrina if there's anything. Katrina just popped in, Katrina Khan, and she is also another one of our students, and she is in cohort 5. And if you wanted to say anything about your experience in the program, you can unmute. And
there we go. Hello. I just wanted to say that I am learning more than I ever thought that it was possible to learn in this program about myself, about how I can help other people and be of service, and the connections that I'm making in this between the mind and the body and just everything. I've become just a better me in this program. And our program heads, our mentors are spectacular, and everybody is on your side. Everybody wants you to succeed. Shay's not my mentor, but I can send Shaye a message and she will do her best to answer it. I can send Kristy a text. I can send Felicia a text. I feel like although the program is very, very challenging and it will stretch you and push you, everybody wants you to succeed, because I think end of the day is we all heavily believe that the world needs more yoga and the world needs more yoga therapists, and we need more trauma-informed yoga therapists. And that's where YogaFit, it's the best. And so it will challenge you, stretch you, grow you, and absolutely make you into the best version of you. I'm absolutely game if anybody has any questions. We have just finished last week our intensive 3. And so I'm now entering practicum readiness and the practicum year. And so yay, yes, yay. So I think it says a lot, the fact that I was online Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, presenting, listening to presentations, and I'm rushing back from teaching a class right now so that I could be online to tell you guys about YogaFit, yoga therapy. So I think that should let you know how much I adore and respect and admire everybody in this program and the way that it's structured. So I was one of those fire hose people who took advantage of COVID. Definitely. I am in Canada, so a lot of the trainings we would have to travel to the United States to get. So I definitely did take advantage of it. So does anybody have any questions for somebody that's currently in the training? No.
Well, thank you, Katina. Those just great descriptions and great words. Thank you.
Yeah, Katrina she was just with me in Dream Yoga. We had such
that's right.
Fun.
Friday.
So fun. I'm like, oh, Katrina. All right, friends. Well, anything else? Any final questions, thoughts, concerns? You know how to get a hold of us. Kristy is therapy@yogafit.com. I'm warrior@yogafit.com. You can schedule a call with me. How do you see yourself using your yoga therapy degree? Yeah. So, so Jennifer, I know you jumped in a little late, so we talked about that already a little bit, but basically we're doing yoga therapy. I'm a yoga therapist.
I think she's asking Katrina. I think she's asking Katrina.
Sorry. I'll shut up. It ain't for me. Katrina, go for it.
Going. So for me, I discovered that one of my passions is actually helping women specifically, but specifically women going through the menopausal transition and helping women understand that they have power, helping them find their path through it, but also to destigmatize women's health and a lot of the issues that we brush under the rug, or we say it's just menopause or it's just women's health. I want to take the just out of that. And I want to bring women together. So my last 2 protocols have been on different aspects of menopause and bringing women together in a safe environment where we can discuss, and bringing forth aspects of yoga and Ayurveda and connection so that women can feel empowered throughout their transformation. So we can come out of menopause, the transition, and realize that we have wisdom, agency, and power that can help to change the world. So I already have people who want to work with me as a yoga therapist coming out of my intensives. So because people have heard that I'm a yoga therapist candidate and that I am helping women, and people are coming to me for privates. I didn't go to them. So there is definitely need there. Oh, you're very welcome, Jennifer. That answer your question?
Yeah,
that's
and I
so
will
great.
say,
No, go ahead, Kristy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I some of the questions I get, people are worried, well, I don't know who I want to work with. And it's that you do not have to know. Sometimes your niche comes as you're doing all of this work. You start writing one of the papers or you work with a group and you just find, oh my gosh, these are my people. Others graduate and they're more of a generalist. So it's really, there's no set path. There's no one way to be a yoga therapist. There's lots and lots of ways.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nailed it, Kristy. It's so cool is that everybody can work with different clients, and yet the methodology works, right? And so the approach works, and it gives you the confidence to go work with any condition, basically, because you've been prepared for it and you know how to approach it, again, from that biopsychosocial, emotional, spiritual model, which is the koshas, right? And well prepared to go work with people across demographics as well. So that's what's neat, is that each one of our students is going to say, hey, I work with this special population. Or like Kristy said, you may want to be a specialist, right? Like when you go to medical school, like I'm going to specialize in this. Or a generalist. I mean, you're always a generalist, but sometimes our students do find those, special populations that they have a heart for, or just maybe a knack. They're particularly talented or gifted in working with this population. Kids, right? That's another one too. All right, our time is up. Last minute here. I'd like to keep it to an hour. So when we send the recording out, we're going to send you all the bonus stuff in a presentation, an example of a presentation, how that goes, so more in depth if you want to do a deeper dive. I'll ask any final thoughts, comments. Kristy, final words.
Join us. We'd love to have you work with us.
Felicia, final words.
I think what you said a moment ago, or what other people said, there's many ways to be a yoga therapist. And the way in which any of us become a yoga therapist and live this our whole life is going to be the totality of what we bring to the table, who we are, and your uniqueness matters.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. You walk out and it's you, right? You're the vehicle of delivery for this medicine that we have to offer. So along the way, you grow as a yogi, as a yogini, right? You expand in ways that you can't even imagine. You can't imagine. So part of it is that transformational journey that you go on as well, that you walk with your mentor, with your fellow cohorts. It's the work worth doing, as we like to say. So thank you everybody who is here and supports us all the time. Good questions. Again, we'll send the recording out, and I hope you all have a wonderful, safe Thanksgiving. You're always in our hearts. We have a strong online community on Facebook if you're on there. If not, we're going to see you on Zoom. Just set up a call. We'd love to chat. All right, friends, have a wonderful week. Thank you, everyone. Kristy, Felicia, Lamar, if you guys want to stay on here a little bit, let's say goodbye to everybody. Bye, friends. Bye, friends.
Thanks for being here.
Or whoever else, Krista, to stay on for just a second. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thanks, everyone who's listening later.